Hello and welcome. We have some very special guests here today talking about a very important initiative that's been going on and a new resolution that we have in this state. So want to welcome our Senator, Senator Pat Toomey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here with us today. So we're going to get started and get kicked off here, and wanted to ask you, how did you become interested in advocating for the awareness of teen cancer, and what is this new resolution, and what does it mean for this particular week?
Well, this specific resolution is meant to bring attention to, a really important challenge that we face, which is making people aware of teen cancer and the unique challenges it has. It was Dr. Altshuler who brought this to my attention and suggested that we do this resolution, and I thought it was a great idea. As we heard earlier from a number of speakers, there are unique challenges that teenagers face when they're diagnosed and fighting cancer, and we wanted to bring some attention to those challenges and remind everybody of the urgency to continue to fight for cures. So that's why I did it.
And like you said, there are some very unique challenges to this particular patient population. So what are some things you've learned about this that you would like the community to understand, to kind of make sense of what that difference is and why we want to focus on this and give some attention?
Well, I guess a combination of the sort of personal things, the fact that teenage years are different from any other years of a person's life. You're going through a phase of life that's unique, and it has its own challenges. You're growing rapidly and changing, and so having to deal with all of those ordinary challenges, and to have on top of that to deal with the treatment of cancer is really really an extraordinary set of challenges. And the other point that I would like to underscore is the way our enormous progress in fighting cancer has not progressed quite as well with the teen cancer categories as it has with pediatric and with older patients suffering from cancer. So I just think that underscores the urgency that we devote the resources necessary to make the same kind of progress on teen cancer that we've made in other areas.
And we have some of our teens here, so I'd like to give them an opportunity to ask some questions. I know they have some kind of fun questions for you, Senator Toomey, so I'm going to kind of hand it over to them. First, let's go to Tyler.
Hi, Senator. I wanted to thank you for being here this morning. Earlier, you mentioned that you were at the fundraiser earlier this more recently, and I wanted to ask you what stood out to you most, and how does that motivate you to support the hospital here and motivate you to want to find the cure for childhood cancer?
The fundraiser was for Alex's Lemonade Stand.
Yes.
And gosh, there was a lot that was motivating. I guess maybe the most motivating was just the courage with which these children have faced this really, really difficult time, and the enthusiasm that they had. We had some really young kids who were just bubbling with energy and enthusiasm and love of life, and so it was very inspiring to see that they took a really tough challenge, and they've turned it around. They're cancer free now, and they've got a wonderful life ahead of them. That was really inspiring, and I just think it's important that we dedicated the effort and the resources and the energy to make sure that more and more people have that kind of outcome.
Senator, I heard that you are an Eagles fan. Is that true?
That is correct.
Okay. How do you feel about Chip Kelly?
I'm optimistic. I think it was probably time to bring in a new coach, and he's got a great story. It's a little bit unusual to have someone come directly out of the collegiate world, but I think the organization has a lot of talent, and let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll find out next season how things shape up.
Thank you. So, Senator, what are some things that inspire you?
Gosh, that's a hard question. I guess one thing that inspires me is people with courage. People who are willing to take on really tough challenges and take risks, but with good motivation and for the right reasons. People who take on challenges, I think, are a big source of inspiration for me.
We see a lot of perseverance in the kids that we have,
Yeah.
even in what we're talking about today. And facing unbelievable challenges in an amazing way. So they're, quite an inspiration in and of themselves.
Right.
But when you have a challenge, what are some things that help you persevere through that?
Well, I try to. You touched on, I think the most important thing is persistence and perseverance. If there were one character trait that I think is maybe most valuable in life, it's that perseverance, the willingness to get up every day and continue to fight for whatever you're engaged in, whatever you believe in, whatever challenge is in front of you. If you can divide your challenges up and kind of mow them down one at a time, because many of us face more than one challenge at any given moment, and you have the determination to persevere. We heard Alex's story, which was extremely inspiring and must have been really, really tough. Time after time, he thought he was going home. And then there was another setback, and he had to stay and had to contend with the latest setback. But he kept pushing on. He just never gave up. And as his mom said, he did it with a smile on his face every day but one. That's pretty terrific.
I have a question. When you were growing up, did you think you were going to be a U.S. Senator?
No, I think when I was a kid, I had better judgment. So, no, I think most of my childhood, I thought I was going to be an architect. And then for a while, I thought I was going to be an engineer. And then by the time I went to college, I had no idea what I was going to do. So and I've done several other things before I went into government. So one never knows in life.
Your name?
My name is Aisha. I have a fun question for you. I know being a senator can be stressful and stuff, but I'm sure you have a lot of fun experiences in your job. Can you describe any fun experiences you've had lately?
Well, I've had a lot of fun experiences, but not necessarily so much with the job. The fun experience for me is when I go home. I have a 2.5-year-old son, and I have a 12-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son. So between the three of them, my house is pretty much always in a state of havoc. And the little guy's just hysterical, as a 2.5-year-old will be, and the older kids are terrific with him. So for me, there's nothing much more fun than just being home with my wife and the kids.
What would be your definition of a perfect day?
Well,
maybe a little quiet in the house.
No, actually, the perfect day is probably in the backyard with the kids and just hanging out at home in the summertime. January seldom qualifies, but a nice day when we can be outside and play a little basketball and play with the little guy and help him play on the jungle gym and the swing set, and that's about as good as it gets for me.
Do you say basketball is your best sport?
Yeah, but that's not saying much in my case. I was when I was approaching high school, my coach took me aside and he said, "Pat, you're small, but you're slow," and that's when I realized, sports probably wasn't going to be the thing for me.
What experiences in life do you think have shaped you to become who you are, and what motivates you to persevere through the challenges that you face in life on a day-to-day basis?
I don't know if there's any one or two events. I think probably just the way I was raised. We're a big family, 6 kids in a working class family, and so we had a real strong work ethic, a real important sense of family, and it was a great childhood. I think that's where you learn the most important lessons. And what's the saying? All the most important things in life you learn by the time you're 5. So the important thing is to remember them and reapply them.
All right, great.